Hello everyone, I'm Jianming from Huazhong University of Science and Technology. Today, I will present a self-adaptive well-learning schema for MLC NVM. Intel has introduced their non-volatile storage product, the OptDC persistent memory. The non-volatile memory has attracted attention due to its silent features of non-volatility, better addressability, large capacity, and DRAM scalar latency. However, NVM also suffers from drawbacks of limited endurance and high write energy consumption. In order to offer large space capacity and relatively cheap cost, device vendors often provide multi-level cell NVM. Single-level cell NVM stores 1 bit in a cell, and multi-level cells NVM stores 2 bits in a cell. The MLC technology has been widely used in different kinds of NVM. Combined with SLC NVM, MLC NVM has high storage density, low cost, and comparable read latency. However, the endurance of MLC NVM is much weaker. For example, the endurance of SLC PCM is 10 to the 7th, and the endurance of MLC PCM is 10 to the 5th. Thus, it is important to improve the lifetime of MLC NVM, and the well-learning schema are necessary and important. According to the mapping relationship between the logical and the physical addresses, existing well-learning schemas can be classified into 3 categories: table-based well-learning, algebraic-based well-learning, and hybrid well-learning schemas. Table-based well-learning schemas, for example, segment swapping, records the mapping relationship between a logical line address LA and its physical line address PA. When the writing counter of one PA triggers the well-learning, segment swapping exchanges the data between this PA and the least used PA in the same region, and changes the relationship between the LA and PA. TBWL needs a huge space overhead to track the mapping relationship. AWL schemas leverage algebraic mapping function to generate the physical address of a given logical address. For example, RBSG always swaps a memory line with its neighboring line. The space overhead of AWL is low, since they only need to store the algebraic mapping functions. Hybrid well-learning schemas combine the algebraic and table-based well-learning schemas. HWL uses table to record the relationship between 2 regions, and leverage the algebraic function to obtain the physical address of one logical line in the region. For example, in the PCMS, the data are shifted within the region, then data are exchanged between 2 regions. PCMS needs a table to record the relationship between physical region number and logical region number. They also need the algebraic function to obtain the physical address of one data in the region. However, these schemas are vulnerable. Specifically, the TBWL can't defend against RAA attack. Repeat address attack is an attack program that repeatedly writes data to the same address. One region contains the limited lines. Since the segment swapping schema only exchanges the data in one region, the RAA can easily wear out all lines in the region at the early stage. For example, if a region contains 4 lines and one line is worn out in 1 hour with repeat writes, RAA can wear out the system in 4 hours. This is a very low lifetime compared with the ideal lifetime of NVM. Some AWL and HWL schemas have the ability to migrate the attacked memory lines to the entire space of NVM. Therefore, they efficiently resist a RAA attack. We use birthday paradox attack to test their lifetime. Birthday paradox attack aims to randomly select a logical address and repeatedly write to each one. As shown in the picture, the number of regions is small. The low exchange period can achieve better well loving. When the number of regions is large, low exchange period greatly increases the number of data exchanges, incurring many extra data writes and thus reducing the lifetime of NVM system. However, the AWL schemas always can achieve high lifetime under BPA attack in all scenarios. The HWL schemas achieve high lifetime under BPA attack. Note that the well-loving granularity is inversely proportional to the number of regions. The greater the number of regions, the smaller the granularity of well-loving. From the picture, we can see that only the small granularity achieves the high NVM lifetime. We summarize the problems of existing well-loving schemas. TBWL and AWL fail to defend against attacks. TBWL wears out at the early stage under RAA attack, and AWL achieves a half lifetime at most under BPA attack. HWL can obtain high lifetime with small granularity. When the granularity is large, the lifetime of HWL is still low. However, HWL needs table to record the relationship between physical region number and the logical region number. Smaller granularity also increases the number of regions and needs a large on-chip cache. Since the cache is limited, we store part of the table on chip. If the granularity is small, the on-chip part covers small space of NVM and decreases the cache hit ratio. Therefore, high performance and lifetime are in conflict. Small granularity leads to high lifetime and low cache hit ratio. On the contrary, large granularity leads to low lifetime and high cache hit ratio. How to address the conflict between the lifetime and the performance is important. We propose SAWL schema to achieve high lifetime and performance. SAWL is a self-adaptive well-loving schema. Small granularity decreases the cache hit ratio, and large granularity decreases the lifetime. We carefully tune the granularity by split and merge the region. When the hit ratio is high, the granularity is large, and the right distribution is unbalanced. Hence, we split the region to decrease the granularity. When the hit ratio is low, we need to merge the region to improve the hit ratio. Finally, we can achieve the high lifetime and performance. We first introduce the architecture of SAWL. Since HWL schemas achieve long lifetime under BPA attack, we execute the HWL schema PCMS in data exchange module to improve the lifetime of MLC NVM. IMT table records the physical locations in which the user data are actually stored. Systems can obtain the physical location of one logical line according to the IMT table. IMT tables are used to well lower the data lines. Since the IMT is large, we store the IMT in the DRAM or NVM, and the IMT entries are packed into memory lines that are called the translation lines. To reduce the translation latency, we buffer the recently used IMT entries in the CMT. The CMT are on SRAM. The translation lines may be worn out. To improve the lifetime, the translation lines also need well loving. GTD in SRAM are used to record the relationship between the logical translation line's memory address and its physical counterpart. Thus, the translation lines also exchange data with each other. We next introduce the operations in SAWL. We merge two regions into one region to increase the well-loving granularity. Also, we split one large region into two regions to decrease the granularity. When merge region, we first choose two unmerged neighborhood logical regions. Then, we exchange the physical data to satisfy the algebraic mapping. Merge region need physically moved data. Finally, we update the relevant CMT entries on the SRAM and the IMT table on the NVM. Thus, the system can access the data according to the new entry. Splitting the region is simple. We logically split the region without data move, since the data has already satisfied the algebraic mapping. Then, we update the CMT and IMT. Another problem is when to adjust the granularity. We use the catch-hit ratio as the trigger. We set the lowest region merge threshold to 90% based on the experimental observation that hit ratio below 90% significantly decreases the performance. We set the highest region split threshold to 95% because the performance evaluation indicates that the well-learning schemas has slightly impact on NVM performance within the boundary. When the catch-hit ratio is larger than 95%, we split the region to obtain high lifetime. Since the granularity is small, the catch-hit ratio decreases. When the catch-hit ratio is smaller than 90%, we merge the regions. Thus, the hit ratio increases. Two parameters about catch-hit ratio need to be discussed. We set SOW and SSW to avoid unnecessary or frequent region adjustments. SOW is the size of observation window. In the window, we calculate the percentage of memory access requests that hit the cache out of the total number of requests observed. The SAWL measures the current runtime catch-hit ratio. As shown in the picture, the small SOW leads to large fluctuation of the catch-hit ratio. The large SOW meets the important trigger time points as shown in the picture. Hence, we use 2 to the power of 22 as the SOW value. SAWL waits for a certain number of requests to ensure that the catch-hit ratio of the observed runtime is sufficiently stable. If the hit ratio is not stable, there are many unnecessary region adjustments. This waiting period is called the settling window. The SSW is the size of the settling window. Like the SOW, a small SSW results in frequent region size adjustments and incurs high rate overhead. And a large SSW leads to SAWL to fail to sufficiently adjust the region size. Thus, we use 2 to the power of 22 as the SSW value. We use Gem5 to simulate the system. The configurations of simulated system are shown in the table. We compare our SAWL with different schemas. Baseline is an NVM system without well-learning schema. NWL4 or 64 is the naive well-learning schema with a region consisting of 4 or 64 memory lines. There are also AWL and HWL schemas. The SPEC 2006 benchmarks are used to evaluate the lifetime and the performance of the comparisons. The picture shows that our SAWL dynamically tunes the region size according to the catch-hit ratio. Due to tuning the region size, SAWL always achieves high hit ratio. We also test the lifetime of our SAWL under BPA attack. As shown in the pictures, SAWL efficiently defends against the BPA attack. Under the SPEC 2006, the lifetime of baseline is low. Other schemas can achieve high lifetime in some applications. Our SAWL achieves high lifetime in all applications. Since SAWL can choose the right can choose the right granularity in different applications. In conclusion, existing well-known schemas fail to efficiently work on MLC NVM. We proposed SAWL to dynamically tune the well-known granularity. Merged regions can increase the catch-hit ratio. Splitting regions can improve the lifetime. Our experimental results show that SAWL achieves high lifetime under attacks and general applications with low performance overhead. That's all. Thank you for listening.